Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Davood Gozli, and I have in this video 3 new books to show you. These 3 books were sent to me recently by Princeton University Press. So I have these 3 copies thanks to the publisher Princeton University Press. They were selected by myself, but they were kind enough, the publisher was kind enough to send me review copies for the purpose of reviewing and discussing them on my YouTube channel. As I try to do with this type of video, this kind of arrival new books videos, I'll go through them once quickly on the first round, just reading the title and the name of each author. And then on the second round, we pause and spend more time on each book, reading the blurb, the summary, or some reviews on the cover of each book. Okay, let's begin. The first book is titled Picturing Personhood. Picturing Personhood. Brain Scans and Biomedical Identity. And it is written by Joseph Dumit. The second book is called Inside the Critics Circle. Book Reviewing in Uncertain Times by Phillipa K. Chong. Phillipa K. Chong. And finally, the third, there's a book called 1,000 Years of Nonlinear History by Manuel de Landa. Manuel de Landa, 1,000 Years of Nonlinear History. Okay, the title seems a little bit difficult to read because of the design, but it's an exciting book. Okay, one more time. Picturing Personhood is, I think this book falls in a general topic that I'm really interested in. There's a recent book I reviewed, which was titled Hijacking Science, talking about how scientific reasoning, or the style of scientific reasoning, kind of has an inertia. That inertia moves it, when it moves it, the scientific reasoning outside of the proper domain of science, applying it to other cultural, social problems, it would be inappropriate. It's a case of hijacking scientific terminology, concepts, ideas, conclusions, being mishandled, being stretched too far. It's kind of like, just think about a university professor who is very serious because of their job, and they meet with students every day, give lectures, and in a very pedantic and dry and cold way, they explain things from the position of a knowing professor to the position of communicating to the ignorant students. In their mind, they see other people as ignorant, and that attitude can be mishandled, can have a kind of inertia. For example, imagine the professor now goes to the grocery store, and at the grocery store starts talking to the staff at the grocery store, and he's still talking as a professor. That's a bit ridiculous and uncalled for and inappropriate. That shows that he doesn't know the limits of that role, that identity, when and where it is appropriate to act like a teacher, like a professor, giving information, asking questions like a teacher, and when he should stop doing that. So that's a general topic. It's a general kind of style of investigation, inspection that we can apply to scientific discourse and the way people talk about science when they are not doing science, when they're not conducting scientific research, but they are using science to influence and shape, bias, or guide our thinking about other topics about which science doesn't really have much to say. So Picturing Personhood is, it seems, a book about how we think about ourselves, how we think about our problems, our issues, in a way that is influenced by just the very fact that we have pictures of brain activity. Okay, let's read from the back. By showing us the human brain at work, PET, positron emission tomography scans, PET scans, are subtly and sometimes not so subtly transforming how we think about our minds. Picturing Personhood follows this remarkable and expensive technology from the laboratory into the world and back. It examines how PET scans are created and how they are being called on to answer myriad questions with far-reaching implications. Is depression an observable brain disease? Is it observable? Can we point to brain activity or brain structure, brain function, and visibly show that this is a depressed brain? And what are the implications of that? Are criminals insane? Do men and women think differently? Is rationality a function of the brain? Based on interviews, media analysis, and participant observation at research labs and conferences, Joseph Dumit analyzes how assumptions designed into and read out of the experimental process reinforce specific notions about human nature. Such assumptions can enter the process at any turn, from selecting subjects and mathematical models to decide which image to publish and how to color them. Once they leave the laboratory, PET scans shape social debates, influence courtroom outcomes, and have positive and negative consequences for people suffering from mental illness. Dumit follows this complex story, demonstrating how brain scans as scientific objects contribute to our increasing social dependence on scientific authority. Joseph Dumit, the author, is Associate Professor of Anthropology and Science and Technology Studies at Massachusetts Institute of Technology. He is a co-editor of Cyborg and Citadels and Cyborg Babies, and associate editor of the journal Culture, Medicine, and Psychiatry. Picturing Personhood. All right. The next title is Inside the Critic's Circle, Book Reviewing in Uncertain Times by Phillipa, Chong. Okay, this is the picture of the author. Oh, did I skip? Was there an author photo here? No, I don't think so. There was no photo of Joseph Dumit. But there is one of Phillipa Chong. And let's read a little bit about Inside the Critic's Circle. Taking readers behind the scenes in the world of fiction reviewing, Inside the Critic's Circle explores the ways that critics evaluate books despite the inherent subjectivity involved and the uncertainties of reviewing when seemingly anyone can be a reviewer. Wow, anyone can. It doesn't require permission to review books. Drawing on interviews with critics from such venues as the New York Times, Los Angeles Times, and Washington Post, Phillipa Chong delves into the complexities of the review writing process, including the considerations, values, and cultural and personal anxieties that shape what critics do. Okay, sounds interesting. Hopefully, it is a good book. I'm really looking forward to reviewing this one because I have a lot of interest in criticism, and specifically book criticism. And book criticism doesn't always mean saying negative things about books. It means a process of forming a justified or justifiable position, evaluation with respect to a book. And I don't have any formal training in criticism. It's not something I was trained to do. It is only remotely and indirectly and very remotely associated with my other interests. I happen to find myself doing book reviews on YouTube, but I'm not a professional reviewer. Okay, 1,000 Years of Nonlinear History by Manuel de Landa. Okay, it's a little bit difficult to read the back cover, but let's try. Following in the wake of his groundbreaking work, what was his groundbreaking work? War in the Age of Intelligent Machines. So following in the wake of that work, Manuel de Landa presents a brilliant radical synthesis of historical developments during the last 1,000 years. 1,000 Years of Nonlinear History sketches the outlines of a renewed materialist history in the tradition of Fernand Braudel, Gilles Deleuze, and Félix Guattari, while engaging in an unprecedented manner. The critical new understanding of material processes derived from the sciences of dynamics. Working against prevailing attitudes that see history merely as the arena of texts, discourses, ideologies, and metaphors, de Landa traces the concrete movements and interplays of matter and energy through human populations in the last millennium. The result is an entirely novel approach. This is the third time we are reading that this is new, unprecedented, new, novel. I'm beginning to already think that it's like too much emphasis. When there's too much emphasis on something, it makes me suspicious. Especially when that thing that is being emphasized is novelty. which is incredibly rare. Okay, let's continue anyways. The result is an entirely novel approach to the study of human societies and their always mobile, semi-stable forms. Cities, economies, technologies, and languages. The Landa attacks three domains that have given shape to human societies. In every case, economics, biology, and linguistics, he discloses the self-directed processes of matter and energy interfacing with the whim and will of human history itself to form a panoramic vision of the West, free of rigid teleology and naive notions of progress, and even more important, free of any deterministic source of its urban, institutional, and technological forms. The source of all concrete forms in the West's history, rather, are shown to derive from internal morphogenetic capabilities that lie within the flow of matter energy itself. That was a mouthful. This book was originally published, I believe, in 1997, and this first paperback edition, or ninth printing, was published in 2019. Okay, very exciting prospective read, picturing personhood, 1,000 years of nonlinear history, and inside the critics circle. I'm looking forward to reading and reviewing these books. If you have any interest in any of these three books, please let me know in the comment section. If you want me to prioritize reviewing one of them and at the cost of deprioritizing another one, let me know. Otherwise, thank you for your attention, and I will speak with you in future videos.